I don't do a lot of articles from Depco File, but there are times that I do get information from them that is very relevant. And there's an article that's entitled Russia and Turkey carve anti-U.S. enclaves in Syria. And basically what the article is saying is that for the first time that Russia and Turkey are working together under a project to try to eliminate any fighting going on in the northern part of Syria, and also to create a buffer zone for Turkey. One thing Turkey's doing is that Turkey's doing this all in the name of the fact that they are still a NATO partner. Let me go ahead and read some of the article. It says, point number 4 that they have on the article, it says, Ankara's military alliance with Moscow steadily eroding Turkey's ties with the United States as well as NATO. Matters have gone so far that the two capitals are in advanced discussion on the supply of Russian air defense missiles to the Turkish army. Debka Files intelligence sources reveal that under discussion is the installation in Turkey of a system of advanced Russian missiles linked to the Russian anti-air missile shield under construction in Syria. Turkey would thus become the first member of NATO to arm itself with a Russian anti-air shield. How is this allowed to happen? According to our sources, Putin and Erdogan are moving fast to cash in on President Obama's repugnance for military intervention in Syria and his waning powers at the tail end of his presidency. Here's something you might want to consider as well. It says that furthermore, neither is considering Syrian President Bashar Assad into their calculations. They are going forward with their plans while ignoring him and his drastically diminished army as factors worth considering. Their objectives are similar and interlocking. Both are intent on developing their respective enclaves in northern Syria. Moscow for a long-term military presence in the country, likewise Ankara. Up until now, the Obama administration stood firm against the two goals, but which is why Washington and Moscow were unable to achieve any real cooperation over a cessation of hostilities in the war-torn country. Even when Kerry and Lavrov struck a truce accord on September 9th, it never held up beyond a few hours. Most recently, Putin and Erdogan tried signaling the U.S. President that their sole ambitions with regard to Syria's future lie in the two military enclaves now under construction. Obama saw this as a sufficient basis to continue withholding advanced arms from Syrian rebel groups and to go for another round of diplomacy with Russia, with Turkey hitching a ride, this time on the opposite side of the table. So as many of us may have thought in the past, this Russian incursion really has nothing to do with Bashar al-Assad. Basically, they're looking nothing more than to take over northern Syria. This is a land grab for Russia. It sounds like to me that Ankara is going along for the ride and going to take a little bit of the spoils themselves. Now, whether or not al-Assad will be the paper king, should I say, so that it doesn't look like a complete takeover by Russia or Turkey, they'll probably leave Assad in power. But according to this, it seems like they're going to have to pay homage to Russia, and then of course Iran and Turkey and I guess Iraq will all play a part as far as that's concerned in what I believe is about ready to take place. So really what you're looking at is the first ramifications of a spoil that will eventually be taken when these powers do come down upon Israel. That's going to come pretty quick. Now, of course, it is uncertain whether it's going to happen before the tribulation period or during or at the very end. No one really knows that question. But certainly you can see the progression that's taken place over the last several years when this war began. And right now where it's at, I mean, the bottom line is that it has taken a massive leap forward just with this information alone, and also with the partnership with Turkey, which for a long time there was quite non-existent. But one of the things that really caught my mind or my eye was the bottom line is that these two partnerships are going forward. These two nations are going forward with no regard to what Syria even thinks. So whether Mr. Assad objects or could care less or is all for it, he has no say in the matter in any way. And the bottom line is that his army is in tatters anyway. He basically has become irrelevant in his own country. And I'm sure in the future will be reduced to a puppet government. But what I see is this right here is I see a long-term Russian, and then Turkey will be a long-term player in Syria. And certainly Iran will have its gateway, and Iraq will be a partner as well. And certainly all will have their part to play, but the bottom line is they'll all be following Russia's lead. Now moving on to Jerusalem and the Temple Mount, what the vote took place over the weekend. And basically what the article says is the United Nations vote on one of the world's most important religious sites has sparked international debate over the future of Jerusalem. The director of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, issued a statement Friday assuring the Jewish identity of the site known as Haram al-Sharif by Muslims and Temple Mount by Jews after members voted Thursday to approve a draft resolution that was critical of Israel and only referred to the site's Muslimic names. And of course, after that, Israel did immediately cut its conversation and ties with that organization. But the one thing you didn't hear coming out of the U.S. was condemnation. And right now, the UN is being very mindful of what's going to go on and where the elections are going to take them next. But I think what you're going to see before Mr. Obama leaves is a big bombshell that he's going to drop on Israel. And I think the rest of the world is going to react in kind. And the question is going to be whether or not the U.S. will veto or not. And that very well may be something that Israel will not be able to depend upon in the future. But the only question is whether or not it's going to be allowed or led by the United States. With this bold move by UNESCO and also the kind of quiet response by the U.S., in fact, they also agreed with what UNESCO said, and they're moving forward with it. So I see this as a real problem for Israel going forward, and I think that as time goes on, they're going to have to get back to the table. But certainly there will be no peace accord until till Christians are removed from this earth and the Antichrist is revealed and he brings about a 7-year treaty. And that treaty is not only going to be with Israel, but it will be with many. And it would not in any way surprise me if it did not include, as I've said, Turkey, Russia, Syria, Iran, Iraq, Yemen, and a number of others who are right now embroiled in war. So it'll be interesting to see what and who the many will be. But we all know that in the end, it's all about getting Israel's land and taking it away from them. And if you are looking for something to believe that we are living in the end times, these are definitely two direct scriptural links that would tell you that, yes, we are living in the end times. And of course, the first one being Ezekiel 38 and 39, and the second one being Zechariah 12:3, Daniel 9:27, and I'd almost have to say also Revelation 11:1 and 2. And if you don't know the Lord, today is the day of salvation. I wouldn't put it off. Today could be your final day. So make that choice for the Lord. And if you don't have one of the copies of my Tribulation Period Survival Guide, get one. There's a free version and a paid version, whichever you choose. I would make that decision to get one as soon as I could. If you want to get one for your lost loved one, I'd get the paperback version. Go down to the description link below this video and you'll find the links that you need. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.